Okay, welcome back to Fisher Mathematics. So this is our first one in a while, our first one over the summer. If you notice, we're in a new location, so if anything doesn't look great, hopefully you can let me know when this eventually goes into use, and hopefully it's soon enough that I can fix it. Our goal for this series of videos over the summer is to go through basically everything that I would teach in algebra, or at least a summarized version if nothing else. That way, if you take my class, you can go as I teach and have some extra examples, some extra resources, or if you don't take my class, hopefully it's still something that applies to what you're doing. Another reason that this video is kind of different is we're going to be labeling sections just as it goes for me. And if you notice, we're starting in the chapter 0, section 1. So what this kind of means is that the first couple of videos are going to be stuff, chapter 0, that you should kind of know coming into algebra, and if you don't, kind of hurry up, let's review, let's get this in our head. Should all be kind of a refresher. What we have today is a 4-step plan for problem solving. So basically, we kind of think about any algebra problem can be set up and use these 4 steps to help find a correct answer. So step number 1 is we want to understand what's going on. What information is given? How can we use it? Is it all important? Step 2 is we need to formulate a plan. We just figured out what information we have, but how are we going to put that to use? What do we need to use? Where do we need to use it? What operations, things like that. Step 3 is to actually solve. So you're carrying out that plan. This is where we find an answer. We find a solution. And then step 4 is to go back and check. And that's very important. And it often gets thrown off to the side. But at the very least, you can usually look at your answer and see at least an eyeball kind of, does it make sense? Does it even fit what we're asking for? It actually came up as important for me. This is actually the second filming of this video, and I did something incorrect on one of the first one. I was checking what I did and didn't work out right. As soon as I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense, but here's take 2, so hopefully everything works out now, and if not, that's the reason we do that. All right, let's go ahead and get started on 2 examples for this video, and hopefully you like our character choices, and we'll see what they're up to. All right, number 1, we have Shrek. His hallway is 10 feet long and 4 feet wide, and he paid $200 to tile his floor, so his swamp's getting renovated or something like that. Hopefully it looks nice afterwards. How much did he pay per square foot? So we need to start with step 1, and that's to understand. So we need to think about what information is given. We have 2 dimensions here of a floor. Think about what it means that we're talking about specifically a floor. In our case, it's going to be a 2D kind of figure. We also have a dollar amount here, so we talk about pay in the next step. Step 2, so now that we talked about what information is given, we need to formulate a plan. So what do we actually want? We want pay per square feet. So we have to think about and plan how to get numbers that make sense. Pay, do we have an amount for pay? We do. So we don't have to change anything with that 200 exactly. We don't have square feet right now though, so we have to formulate a plan to get that. Well, square feet, we're talking area. We just said we have a floor. So we could think about if that was the hallway. It's not perfect to scale, but that's 10 feet and that's 4 feet. We could find area and get square feet. And then when we have this per in here, that makes me think division. So our plan should be after we get square feet, we take the 2 and divide. So let's do that now. Let's carry out our plan and let's solve. So first we said we need to get this square feet. So if we remember how to find area of a rectangle, 10 times 4, length times width, that's going to give us 40, I'll put feet squared, kind of as shorthand. And then I said, once I have that, this per tells me that I want to think division. So I'm going to have 200 as the pay. So let's put that up top since we're dividing. And I'll label that as dollars. So I have pay, dollars, per, division, square foot, got 40 of them. I got to continue solving and carrying out the plan. Let's see what we get here. If we do 200 divided by 40, if we're reviewing, we also want to think how many times does 40 go into 200? So we can think, what, 40, 80, 120, I'm going to think a little bit, 160, 200. So that's 5 times. So I would have $5 per square foot, or if you want to keep it in this form and kind of start to think about things as everything can be written as a fraction, at least all these rational numbers we have, and we'll talk about that later. $5 per 1 square foot. And I told you guys, I had last time when I made it to step 4 and I checked, I realized there was a mistake. So let's check again. $5 per square foot seems like a reasonable number. If we would have got something like 300, something bigger than what we even paid to begin with, we would know that didn't make sense. If we got, like I got last time by just trying to look at the numbers real fast and write something down, $50 per square foot, we would be paying a lot more than this 200 total. So there's ways we can just eyeball, if nothing else, if we don't plug in every single number and check that it makes sense. Okay, so that is our first one there. And then we have a second one as well that we're gonna fit into this video. Looks like we're at about 7 something. Number 2, oh, we have another character that I love personally, Ant-Man. His family drove 254.6 miles. Their car used 19 gallons of gas. What is the car's mileage? Okay, not too much crammed into this one. We're going to follow that same process as before. So understand, what are we being asked? What's given? We want to know the car's mileage. So typically when we think that, at least because we're given miles here and not kilometers or something like that, we want to think miles per gallon. And we said over here, when we say per, we want to think division. So some number of miles divided by some number of, what do we want? Miles per, gallon, okay. Again, if we're going metric or something like that, we'd be using kind of different measurements here, right? All right, right now we have our total miles, so let's go ahead and fill that in. Oh, I'm jumping ahead of the plan. Our plan next is to fill in, use the information that's given, the total miles and the total gallons of gas. I kind of talked about the plan as well. We said that we want mileage, so that made me think miles per gallon, and that made me think division. So that's where I got the plan from. So let's fill that in now. $254.6 and 19. Next, I want to actually carry out the plan. So I'm going to solve, and I'm not going to try to work this one out in my head. This is going to be my calculator right now. So let's actually solve that 254.6. Remember, per means division, 19. And just in case there's any confusion at all, this division here carries. So let's do 254.6 divided by 19, 13.4. So I don't want to write just this and stop. I don't want to write just 13.4 and stop. Let me clear this. Okay. I don't want to just say 13.4 is my answer. 13.4 what? So what were we asking for? This is part of the understand, going back to that. Well, mileage, so we wanted miles per division gallons. And we wanted miles per 1 gallon, right? So anytime we say miles per gallon, you would say, oh, my car gets 15 miles per gallon or something like that. It's 15 miles per 1 gallon. You're not giving how much miles you would get for 3 gallons or something like that. We're narrowing it down to a 1 here. And then finally, does this make sense? Well, that's our check step there. 13.4 miles per gallon seems reasonable. I don't know how Ant-Man's car functions, so that might be a little big or a little small for him. It makes me think, I wonder if the car can get bigger. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those from the movie where it's like a little Hot Wheel car. But it does, the number makes sense, so it passes kind of the eyeball check. If we wanted to, we just did division, so to kind of redo and check or undo, we can multiply these back together and see if that's what we get. Let's actually work that out real quick. So 19 times 13.4, and it does give us 254.6 back, so it does work out. So this is going to be a wrap for the first one, 0-1. Hopefully it helped, and hopefully this just sets a foundation for everything we do moving forward.